West Ham United do not need to sign a striker, is the exact sort of phrase that would come out of David Sullivan's mouth if he watched Lucas Paqueta play against Aston Villa. If you watched the game against Villa the other night, I, and most definitely probably you, were very impressed with Lucas Paqueta. It was probably one of his best games in recent months, even in the past year. But why was he so good? And why has he been underperforming really in other positions? Unfortunately for Paqueta, a lot of people have been talking about his position and where he should be playing for West Ham. Now, months ago when Lopetegui joined, a lot of people seemed to think his best position would be in the centre of the pitch, either as an 8 or a 10. Now, this hasn't quite worked out for Lucas Paqueta in this role for many reasons. I won't get into it in this video, but we have seen a consistent good performance out of him every time he's either played off the left or in a false 9 striker role. Now, unfortunately for the people who don't like David Moyes' names to be mentioned, this does actually come way back to when he was the manager. It was actually Moyes' decision to play Lucas Paqueta off the left, and what a decision it was. And we have also seen times where David Moyes has utilised Lucas Paqueta in a false 9 role, which he played against Aston Villa. Now, although I could sit here all day and talk to you about how Lucas Paqueta is better off in these roles and what he does so well, let's have a look at his game against Aston Villa and look at what he did so brilliantly for us. Now I can actually show you a bit of how Lucas Paqueta played during this match and what he done so well. You can see Lucas Paqueta is circled there. He's took up the position in between the two centre-backs, and Alvarez has got the ball here and he's looking to clip it long. Now, a lot of people would think we've got Lucas Paqueta, a somewhat midfielder / winger. He's not really going to be able to use his physicality well to hold up the ball. Well, that is one of the actual positives of Lucas Paqueta and what he does so well. The ball that Alvarez wants to play is just in behind the centre-back, looking to catch him off guard. Lucas Paqueta actually does really, really well here. He kind of nudges the defender, not a foul, just a slight little nudge, and wins the aerial battle, really. The ball drops nicely to him, and instead of taking it first time, which I think probably he could have done, and probably would have been his best option, he decides to try and flick it round Tyrone Mings. It doesn't quite work. But if you look here, you can see a little bit better of the little nudge that Lucas Paqueta likes to put into the centre-back. Once again, it's not a foul, it's a contact sport, so this is really smart from Lucas Paqueta actually. This is in the second half now. Aaron Wan-Bissaka's getting forward, and of course Aaron Wan-Bissaka likes, especially both our fullbacks really likes to put balls in the box. Now with Lucas Paqueta playing striker, we don't necessarily think of him as a player that's going to be winning aerial battles in the box, looking to get on the end of crosses. But he does this really well, actually. Paqueta takes up a position in between the right centre-back and the right-back, which is a good position to take up, actually, because both the right centre-back and the right-back are a bit unsure which one has to pick him up. And what you'll most likely see when a lot of players play in a false 9 role is instead of looking to go forward, they like to drop off a little bit deeper and receive the ball just off the centre-backs. Well, in fact, Lucas Paqueta here quite evidently wants to get into that space there and looks to get on the end of the cross. The ball is overplayed, it goes back to Emerson, and it actually comes down to Lucas Paqueta, who's in a really good position once again, still in between the right-back and the right centre-back. And if we're being perfectly honest here, he should do a lot better than what he does. This is another example of how he wants to get into the box and get on the end of the crosses. A lot of men are around Lucas Paqueta here. He's the only real threat in the box we have at this current moment. So with him dropping deeper, it's going to really eradicate the point of putting any balls into the box. But he does this so well in getting in the right position at the right time. Now this is the last little clip that I took, and you can't actually see Lucas Paqueta in this frame whatsoever. We're defending as a unit, and the only player further forward is actually Lucas Paqueta and I believe Danny Ings. Aaron Wan-Bissaka punts the ball long, and we're kind of just hoping as to relieve a bit of pressure. The ball actually goes long and lands right at Lucas Paqueta. Now, he's up against a centre-back here, and I think most of us will believe the centre-back is going to win the aerial battle over Lucas Paqueta because, once again, he's not really that target man type of striker. Paqueta actually wins the ball here, and I was so shocked to see how he done this because it was a really hard ball to bring down, and he's got 4 Aston Villa defenders around him. But instead of just losing the ball, he actually plays a really smart pass into Danny Ings. Danny Ings wins the ball and actually sets us up for a nice counter-attack. Nothing came of it, but it was really good hold-up play from Lucas Paqueta. Now that is one of the brilliant things about Lucas Paqueta playing up front for us. His hold-up play is absolutely phenomenal. We've kind of missed that physicality up front, especially without Antonio. Fulkrug provides it, but Danny Ings up front by himself is not going to provide that. He just lacks any sort of physicality, and to be honest with you, it's pretty pointless playing him up front by himself. But if we can utilise Paqueta in this role, I do believe we can kind of get the best out of him, for the time being anyway. I'm still a firm believer of Lucas Paqueta being the best off the left-hand side, coming in a little bit more centrally and allowing a left-back to overlap him. But within this system, without a striker, Lucas Paqueta can perform this role for us. Now, as I'm recording this, we are a couple days away from a transfer window, and it looks very unlikely that we're going to sign anyone, let alone a striker. Maybe Graham Potter can't find the right striker in the transfer window and has decided after seeing Lucas Paqueta perform in the striker role, and that maybe he can get a little bit out of him in this role. I think the whole team would perform a lot better if we had Jarrod Bowen back in the team, who potentially could work really well with Lucas Paqueta in this role. With Paqueta dropping slightly deeper, allowing Jarrod Bowen to make those runs in behind, it would create a lot of space for us to threaten the opponent's back line. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think Lucas Paqueta could perform this role very well for us, considering we don't have a striker at the moment? Or do you think his best position is best elsewhere? But I, for one, cannot wait to see him, hopefully, in this role again in the next game.